Hello everyone, my name is Rashi Laskari and I'm a counseling psychologist and relationship therapist. Today I'm here starting a very special conversation with Dr. Rajiv Anand. Dr. Rajiv Anand is a senior psychiatrist and a marriage counselor and sex consultant practicing in Mumbai for the last 43 years. And we are here to bring to you an interesting conversation with his decades of experience on relationships and love. We often hear people talk about being in love and feeling that love is enough to sustain a relationship. And today we're going to talk about exactly that. Is love enough for a successful marriage? Is love truly the only foundation that we need, or is there more than that? Hello, Dr. Anand.
Hello.
Over 4 decades of experience, I would like you to share with us, what are your thoughts? Do you feel like love is enough for a successful marriage?
Okay, first of all, let me thank you as well as congratulate you for taking up this kind of venture when matters like love and relationship should be talked aloud openly in as much as possible comfortable, easiest language. Now, the answer to your question about the love. I have seen over the last 5 decades the love changing its colors, love changing its meaning, love changing the depth, which used to be there for the generation before us, then through our generation, and then through the new generation. So, what is being presumed as love, liking someone's eyes, someone's features, someone's figure, or feeling comfortable in someone's presence, is now defined as love, or feeling fulfilled at certain needs which otherwise remain unfulfilled, and certain person by his presence or by his words or by his touch make us fulfill those needs, and we begin believing that this is love. Now, this love does not sustain, this love does not make a marriage last long.
I hear you, doctor, and I actually resonate with that because I see that so often. You spoke of people looking at some features or some qualities about another person, and we often see that even the younger generation nowadays confuses love with feeling deeply for someone. If they feel deeply for someone, if they have a few things in common, and a lot of times the things in common are often similar shared past experiences, what nowadays people call trauma bonding. So a lot of these things are being replaced or misunderstood as the feeling of love. And I actually want to go forward, right, to discuss that if love is not just by itself enough, then what would be 2 or 3 non-negotiables according to you, right? If we had people to understand that just love is not enough, then what are things that people should look out for?
Yes, very interesting, because this is a very, very deep topic which should be understood in as best as possible depth. Love itself is not enough, because the love, what is being understood as we described a minute back, is only need fulfillment. For most people, this is being considered as need fulfillment. While if there is no commitment for the long life, if there is no commitment with responsibility, with no commitment with responsibility and with respect for each other, and there is no certainty or guarantee about staying together for a long time, let people not use the word love. They can use the word liking, they may say attraction, they may use any other word, but since in the background of paucity of the word in that spectrum, people usually jump to first available word called love. And the moment one person says love, other person find heart ringing the bell, and then other person also say the same, I also love you, and this love begin on a note which initially is very loud and very and thrilling, very entertaining and very enlivening, but later on it peters out. So there's a lot more to be added to love to make it last
I
long.
hear you. So do you mean that nowadays when people say that I love you or they share their expressions of love, do you feel like they don't mean it in the exact way as it's an emotion? I understand that, but love as an emotion is very different from love as a practice. And if we had to give that a little bit of thought in our conversation, while people feel love to some form, are they able to bring it into practice into the relationships? Are we saying that the essence of how they feel love is changing over time?
Yes, the need for expression of love, need for listening from the other person, that the other person care for me, love for me. That need is increasing, and the possibility of expression also have increased in background of social media. Various kind of mediums to express, right from Facebook to Insta to WhatsApp to other mediums, and voice messages and video conferences. All this has expanded the platform for expression. But then expression does not signify the substance. Today, average girl or a boy find himself in a very difficult to explain predicament. By the time 5 6 years pass by after being adult, they have had 3 4 boyfriends, 3 4 girlfriends. And to all of them, they have experienced the same thing what you mentioned about love. And they've expressed that they love. But where did the love disappear, if it was love? So question back to you, do they really know what love is?
Actually, when we talk of the younger generation, right, if we realize relationships, or at least the beginning of relationships, are very dopamine driven. So, like I was talking earlier, it's very easy to misunderstand, misinterpret uh, bonding as love, similarity as love. It's very easy, which we commonly see, that a lot of people in their 20s and even 30s confuse attraction with alignment. That if I feel attracted to this person, that means that I will be able to align with this person, whereas they are two very different things. So I do agree that the interpretation of love and the sustainability of that as an emotion is something that a lot of people get confused with.
See, ironically, the word love is most often talked about, heard about, written about. How often we hear the word, in addition to the love, the word responsibility, the commitment, the respect, or the communication. How often we hear this word? Rarely. These words are considered to be academic or theoretical. However, people may take it that they are academic or theoretical, but in reality, they alone work. Now, these words are least talked, least heard, least written about, least understood. People jump into marriage believing that they have expressed love for each other or they have heard from each other love. But that love was so shallow, it didn't have the roots. Very soon they find they are not compatible. They are not made for each other. We have had couples who, after staying together for 7 years, and when they felt compelled to marry, within 2 weeks they found that they were not meant for each other, they were not compatible with each other. Where did that love of 7 years when they stayed together disappear so suddenly? Obviously, that was not love.
I want to highlight that actually. You mentioned three or four points, right? You said respect, responsibility, communication. Uh, I'm sure you experience this as much as I do when we work with couples in marriage counseling. A lot of them, sometimes women, sometimes men, bring this up, right? That, oh, I know my partner loves me, but there's a big but. That but is that I don't feel seen, I don't feel understood. And just these three or four points that don't get spoken about because they don't have the vocabulary in their relationship dynamic to bring this up, to be able to say that, oh, you know, what I actually feel from my partner is missing is the respect. What I actually feel my partner is not able to give me is the undivided attention. So, factually, I know that there is love because there are some things that my partner is doing in order to showcase their love. But it's the pillars that we were talking about, the non negotiable pillars of respect, communication is still missing. So, do you feel like that is something that couples should become more aware of?
Yes, every couple has to work because over the last 3 decades, particularly, the sheer time is decreasing alarmingly. Whether the increased travel time, the demand from the office, women working, social media, electronic media, the sheer time is decreasing very, very disturbingly and alarmingly. And that's the precise reason However, theoretically, they may feel that there's a love for each other. But then it's something like fixed deposit and money in your hand. If you have 1 crore in fixed deposit, if you have 10,000, you can't run the house. So express love, felt love, which can connect to people on ongoing basis, that is reducing. That's possible only when there is a shared time. Most women, as you mentioned, most women have got sentence, I know my husband loves, but, or my wife loves, but. From where does that but come? Because they have huge stock of unshared, not so easily offloaded, disturbing emotion, which is what exactly the purpose of marriage was. And that purpose is not being solved. So even though theoretically there is a box called love, theoretically they are married, but practically sharing is minimum. Now girls do get married not for what people think before they get married. They get married for sharing, increasing their sharing as much as possible, as intensely as possible, because that sharing makes them feel connected. And they love a guy because he gives them opportunity to feel connected. They don't get attracted or married to a guy just for the sake of physical pleasure. And that somewhere is going down. That's what concerns me.
I actually like how this conversation is going. I also want to bring up, a word you used, which is very often used with regard relationships, which was compatibility. I think compatibility was seen or understood very differently until some time ago. At a very superficial level, compatibility is seen as how similar we are, and maybe in the quintessential ways, it was expected that if you have similar hobbies, similar careers, similar lifestyle or food choices, you must be making a compatible couple. But as I see in practice today, I feel like the meaning of compatibility is really changing because people are becoming emotionally more aware, and somehow I'm starting to feel that compatibility is now becoming about how compatible almost like our nervous systems are, right? Do we deal with problems in a similar way? Do we have similar conflict management? Do we react to stress in the same way? Will we be able to face life's challenges in a similar way? Because people are recognizing that the lifestyles and the hobbies and the food interests can still be managed, but if we are not able to get through these things, like we could be a couple who's extremely in love, so to say, but when it comes to managing a conflict, one wants to take some time and retrieve in a shell, and the other wants to resolve the issue aggressively. Now, I may be still compatible with this person on my lifestyle choices, but if our conflict management is not aligned, then just love still does not make the cut to be enough, because we are talking about whether love is enough for a successful marriage. What are your thoughts on the changing definition of compatibility?
Interesting. I'm impressed with your in-depth understanding about this word compatibility, because that's a word which is being spoken left, right, center. I try to simplify things. Remember a tonga, remember a horse cart where two horses are together for the common destination wherever they have to go together. And they are so close and so apart, they work in the same direction. Marriage essentially was what are the common targets, whether living together for next 50 years, raising a family, having 1 or 2 kids, bringing them up, getting them educated,
Yeah.
living joyfully together, together, sharing meals together, living together, traveling together, going to movies together, going for parties together, inviting people at. Now, all these things are thinning out. They don't have a horizon of 50 years of marriage. They are ready for breaking apart if they do not find compatibility within few years. They don't have a target of having children. They don't have a target of raising a family. They don't have a horizon of bringing their children up and getting them educated. They don't have that. The husband has got his own social agenda. Wife has her own social agenda. Travel plans are also with office party or with her gangs, whichever way. So lesser and lesser shared activity, which is happening alarmingly. Now, where is that compatibility? Because there is a greater emphasis on individuality. Remember, when you speak about compatibility, The ground before that is whether individuality, part of it has been merged with the other person's individuality or not. Whether there is adjustability with the other individual or not. In the background, when we have not accepted other individual as an extension of me, or I'm not allowed my individuality to compromise with the other person's need, then I would be I, he would be he. We may appear to be close together, but we are essentially not closer together. So mentally, we are not compatible. We are feeling forced to live together. We are feeling forced to say that we are married, but emotionally we are not one. And that's the reason why marriages are cracking apart globally, which disturb people in our profession. Over to you.
Do you think people are giving up too quickly? I mean, I know that we live in times where separation and divorce is spoken about or is accepted as a society far more easily than it was, let's say, 20 years ago.
Yes,
But expectations are increasing, and if you ask me, I don't think there's anything wrong with the kind of expectations we're talking about. We're talking about the emotional connection, the emotional availability, the presence, your presence in a marriage, attention to, you know, the nuances of your partner, undivided attention towards the relationship. So, while of course one part is that expectations are increasing, would you say that people are giving up too quickly?
yes, both things are right. One, expectations are rising too much too soon. People don't have patience to slow down on the expectation. What is possible in 1 year? What is possible in 2 years? What is possible in 5 years? What is possible in 10 years? Anybody coming to Bombay from the outstation may not get 3 BHK flat right in the first year, so on and so forth. Anybody getting into Bombay on a reasonably decent job can't afford to buy a big car.
It's
It's
always
so
a
easy.
gradual
It's a
process.
process. Everybody has had his own struggle. Everybody has made way or made progress in compartmentalized way, staggered way. But then every young man doesn't realize that my expectation from life, expectation how my life can be made better by my husband, how much my husband is able to afford financially or physically or emotionally, that is not taken into account. Only my expectations are not fulfilled. People are losing patience. People are having lower frustration tolerance. People are giving up easily, तुम किसी काम के नहीं. Or very often spoken sentence by one partner to the partner is, I'm regretting having been married to you. Or you took me for a ride. Or you betrayed my trust. Or you fooled me. Now these sentences, they just hammer the marriage, which is very ugly, very unfortunate that this reflect how quickly people get frustrated with a budding relationship which has a long horizon. So this topic interesting. I'm sure that whosoever is listening would reflect within the what and where, what is missing and where it is missing.
Thank you for that answer. So before we close this, right? For all couples who are watching, for people who aspire to be in healthy relationships, what would be a suggestion or a takeaway that you want them to take back from our conversation today?
Just remember T. T for time. And second T, talk. Find out as much as possible time from 1 minute to 5 minutes to 10 minutes to half an hour to 1 hour. And cumulatively, over 24 hours, you have to have 30 minutes to 50 minutes to 60 minutes shared time together. You are nurturing the relationship at its root. If the roots are not nurtured, tree would fall apart. All leaves would go away, tree would die. One is T for time, second is T for talk. Most people are now becoming poor talker. Unfortunately, most men and most husbands are finding themselves as very poor communicator, very poor talker, and the vitamin to the soul, to the woman, or need for a woman is to talk. Talk make them feel connected. Husband doesn't bother for this, he doesn't know this. So T for shared time and T for talking as much as possible talking. Wake up your wife if she's intending to go to sleep early. Say, I want to talk to you for half an hour. She would be ready. Talking is disappearing. So work on T for time, T for talk. What do you have to say that you are meeting so many young couple these days? I also come across, but relatively you come across more young people. So what they should try to improve in their life
So,
rather than
add
giving up and throwing away the marriage.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because we're talking about whether love is enough, I definitely think that love is a starting point. But a successful marriage requires more work than just that. Love is an emotion, but the skill to be able to sustain a marriage is what we work with most couples. So, two or three things that stand out to me that I would like for people viewing this to take back, right? One is emotional regulation. I could get angry. I could have difficult emotions, but that does not mean that I am attacking my partner. So, how well we are able to emotionally regulate, or we learn how to emotionally regulate away from our past experiences, and mutual respect, like you were talking earlier, very important that a disagreement does not mean that I have to dismiss or diminish my partner. We could disagree. And I think the most important part is repair after conflict management. Because I truly believe that a marriage does not break because love is missing, it breaks because we've not learned how to repair it.
This is very vital skill, conflict management,
Yeah.
because conflicts are increasing by leaps and bounds number wise, and our ability is decreasing.
Yeah.
Unimaginative, this ability is decreasing. We need to cope up. We need to hone up our skill to for the conflict management. That alone would solve many problems.
If you're someone who has wondered if love is enough, I hope that this conversation helps you to think a little bit deeper and dive into your relationship and build it stronger right from the foundation. Stay tuned for more such insightful conversations.
Thank you. Wish you all the best.